What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick. I can't wait to see what you do with that, Cacus. And today we have a Xur inventory review and location for the weekend of September 10th to 13th. So let's get started. So Xur is located on the EDZ. Simply head to the Winding Cove. And once you're there, head forward to the back of the map, and then you are going to have to kind of scale the ship here, and Xur is at the very top. Alright, let's see what he has. So, first off, in terms of exotics, the weapon is the Monte Carlo. Now, this is frankly an average weapon right now in the meta, but it provides a huge bonus to any builds looking to utilize their melee, so if you don't have it, I would recommend picking it up. Then, in terms of exotics, for the Hunter, we have the Liar's Handshake. Trash stat roll, gonna be honest, but this is a pretty powerful weapon again for a melee build and actually pairs quite well with the Monte Carlo. For the Titans, we have the Helm of Saint-14. This provides a great degree of survivability in your bubble, and I actually like that stat roll as well, because remember, if you're a Titan, you need resilience now more than ever, because the health of your bubble depends on your resilience stat in PvE. So this, if you don't have it, I think is not a bad consideration. Then the Claws of Ahamkara for the Warlock will give you an extra melee charge, and overall a pretty decent stat roll here. But frankly, nothing to write home about. This is a maybe at most. Now let's move on to the weapons. Firstly, we've got the 7th Seraph Carbine, and this actually does come with rangefinder and, something like Hammerforged Rifling, but autoloading really doesn't pair with that too well. Also, the 450 RPM archetype just isn't doing too well in PvP where you would want rangefinder, so I'm going to say pass on that. 7th Seraph Revolver, this is a pretty average roll. Again, I'm going to pass on this one. Now for the Last Dance, rangefinder again, PvP all-star, but the rest of the perks are kind of okay. Threat detector actually isn't that terrible. I would actually consider this if you're really in the market for a burst sidearm, but other than that, I would skip. Then we've got the Timeline's Vertex. This is again all over the place. Demolitionist is pretty good in PvE, but Firmly Planted is pretty much just meant for PvP. It's actually pretty darn good with fusion rifles if you can slide or crouch to activate it, but I digress. This is again like kind of a skip. Then we've got the Long Shadow Sniper. This roll here, not impressed with, like Rampage, Hipfire Grip. This is just a skip. Then we've got the Honor's Edge. Now, this is kind of an interesting one. Okay, so we've got, Tempered Edge and Jagged Edge increasing, the damage to the maximum. Then we've got Balance Guard and Swordmaster's Guard. Importantly, we have Tireless Blade, so sword ammo is going to be granted back every other powered sword kill. Then we actually have Shattering Blade. If your heavy attack consumes the last of your ammo, it deals significantly increased damage. So you can actually do some pretty crazy stuff in terms of DPS if you activate Shattering Blade. This is really hard to activate though, but it's extremely unique. This was a perk that was present on a lot of swords when they first came out. We haven't seen it in a while. I would maybe consider picking this up if you can afford it, just because of the uniqueness of Shattering Blade. And lastly, we actually have a Frozen Orbit. So that's kind of interesting, showing you what Xur can have in his inventory, because the Frozen Orbit, this is a crucible weapon. However, the roll here, I actually don't mind surplus on it, massively increasing the stability if you have charged abilities, but box breathing is really not quite what you want. I would say this is an average roll at best, because again, surplus is good, accurized rounds is pretty good, range masterwork is not bad, but the problem here is box breathing. It does give you a damage bonus, but you have to wait for it, and on this damage archetype, which is the max damage archetype, it's kind of the thing that least needs that. Okay, now let's take a look at the armor. I'm on Titan so far. Gauntlets, pretty average unless you really want strength. The chest piece is extremely bad, skip that. We've got the mark, the helmet, trash, skip that, and legs, trash, skip that. Okay, now let's switch to a warlock. Alright, so for the warlock, the arms, actually, not terrible, but also too much mobility and resilience in my opinion. These are a maybe at most. Now for the chest piece, 60 stat on the nose is not really what I'm excited for. Again, this is kind of a maybe. We've got the class item, the helmet. Well, if you want a discipline build, this having 27 discipline is insane. And then the chest, the leg piece, sorry, again, if you're looking for strength, if you want a melee build, hey, if you want to combine it with the Claws of Ahamkara you just bought, I would consider that, but nothing here that really stands out to me as an utter god roll. All right, now let's try the Hunter. Okay, last but not least, firstly we have the arms. 65 is definitely high, but this is not spiky at all. Then we've got the chest piece. Again, 63 is pretty high, and you mean mobility is good, recovery is good, discipline is good, intellect's good. I would consider this chest piece for just kind of a good overall stat increase. We've got the cloak, sorry, then we've got the helmet. 58 I think is too low. And lastly, we've got the legs. Again, 63 is good, but this is nowhere near spiky. So at the end of the day, I think the thing that really stands out is frankly this Helm of Saint-14. This is a pretty spiky, pretty darn good roll, and I bet a lot of you guys that already have a Helm of Saint-14 maybe weren't prioritizing resilience, which just got really important because of the update within Season of the Lost that made the bubble actually its health depend on your overall resilience stat. So this is a really big consideration for a lot of people out here, and I do like the Helm of Saint-14. I think it's a very good PvE exotic. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed, found this informative. If you did, please remember to help this video out by liking and especially sharing. If you want to keep up to date with the channel, follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.